A young woman travels across the world in search of love and adventure, only to meet a tragic and untimely end. How did Ashley Wadsworth's dream turn into a nightmare? Stay with me as we uncover the heartbreaking story of Ashley Wadsworth and the dangers she unknowingly faced. Welcome back to Chilling Fireside Stories. Thank you for joining me today. Your support through likes, comments, and subscriptions helps me continue sharing important stories. Today we're discussing a tragic case that unfolded far from home for a young woman seeking love: the murder of Ashley Wadsworth. Before we dive in, please be aware that today's story contains sensitive content. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Now grab a warm drink and let's begin. Ashley Wadsworth, born on July 25, 2002 in Vernon, British Columbia, Canada, grew up as the younger daughter of Kenneth and Christy. She shared her childhood with her older sister Haley in a large and close-knit family of over 50 relatives, all living within the same community. After her parents' divorce, her father remarried and had two more children, Crystal and Brandon. Despite these changes, Ashley maintained a strong connection with her family, especially with her niece Paisley, Haley's daughter, whom she adored. Ashley was known for her vibrant personality. She was outgoing, friendly, and well-loved by friends and family alike. She enjoyed outdoor activities like swimming, horseback riding, and skiing, and she also participated in tennis and played the clarinet. Additionally, she was active on social media where she frequently shared memes, jokes, and pictures. It was through these platforms that she met Jack Sepple, a boy from Essex, England. Their virtual friendship began in 2015 when Ashley was 12 and Jack was 15. Jack, born on January 9, 1999, had a complicated family background. He lived with his mother, Tracy Dalton, and stepfather, Ricky, while his relationship with his late father was strained. Jack's family ties were minimal as he didn't have contact with his brother, Jordan, although he remained close to his sister, Nadia. Known for his charming yet troubled personality, Jack was described as both humorous and unpredictable. His challenges at school and occasional aggressive behavior were noted by acquaintances. Ashley and Jack were introduced by a mutual friend online. Despite the distance, they quickly bonded over shared interests and spent hours chatting. Using her family's computer, Ashley kept the friendship open to her relatives, who were aware of their connection. Over time, their relationship evolved from text-based chats to video calls. Jack became a familiar presence in Ashley's life, often sending her gifts including clothes, teddy bears, and money. Their bond deepened, but Jack's obsessive behavior raised concerns among Ashley's loved ones. During arguments, Ashley would block him, only for Jack to find ways to contact her through new accounts or mutual friends. In one instance, Jack tattooed Ashley's name on his arm, an act her parents deemed excessive. His jealousy and controlling tendencies surfaced as he monitored Ashley's interactions with others, despite maintaining his own relationships with different girls. Ashley, however, remained captivated by Jack. By 2018, at the age of 16, Ashley expressed a desire to meet Jack in person. Her family, wary of her safety, did not allow her to travel alone overseas. Despite frequent fights and Jack's troubling actions, the pair continued to reconcile. As Ashley entered her late teens, she began saving money from her jobs at fast food restaurants and department stores, dreaming of finally meeting Jack in person. With her new financial independence, Ashley purchased a tablet to maintain her privacy online. By November 12, 2021, now 19 years old, she decided to fulfill her long-held dream. She traveled to the United Kingdom on a 6-month tourist visa to meet Jack for the first time and celebrate her birthday with him. It was her first international trip, marking a milestone in her life. Despite concerns from her family and friends, Ashley's determination and excitement defined her bold choice to embark on this journey. According to those close to her, Ashley traveled to the United Kingdom with hopes of exploring the possibility of living with Jack and perhaps continuing her education there. The two met in person for the first time on November 13, 2021, at London Gatwick Airport. Excited about the encounter, Ashley updated her profile picture that same day to one featuring the pair together. At 22 years old, Jack looked significantly older than Ashley, who had a cheerful and youthful demeanor at 19. His heavily tattooed appearance, including ink on his face, starkly contrasted with her light-hearted personality. Ashley stayed with Jack in his home during her visit. He lived alone in a small apartment within a public housing complex in northwest Chelmsford. While the area had a questionable reputation, the couple spent time exploring more pleasant parts of the city. Initially, Jack appeared to be the loving and attentive partner Ashley had known online. He showered her with compliments and happily posed for romantic selfies. However, he also displayed volatility, which occasionally escalated into cruel behavior. During their time together, Ashley and Jack were inseparable. Since she was on a tourist visa, Ashley couldn't work and Jack, who was unemployed, relied on social assistance and occasional help from his mother, Tracy, who lived nearby. Ashley frequently updated her social media with photos and cheerful captions, showing the couple enjoying their time together. They even adopted a puppy named Winston, adding another layer of apparent happiness to their life. However, as weeks passed, Jack's behavior began to shift. He became reclusive, preferring to stay home and play video games rather than going out. This left Ashley, an outdoor enthusiast, feeling confined. Jack's controlling tendencies also grew. He discouraged her from speaking to neighbors and restricted her activities. Before her trip, Ashley had been put in touch with American missionaries by a friend from her church. Despite her interest in meeting them, Jack forbade her from attending church services. Determined, Ashley maintained secret contact with the missionaries through text messages, deleting conversations to keep them hidden. The missionaries quickly noticed Jack's controlling and possibly abusive behavior. When Ashley confided in them, she admitted knowing she deserved better but claimed her main goal was to make Jack happy. The abuse extended beyond emotional control. About 6 weeks after Ashley's arrival, Jack texted his mother, admitting he had struck Ashley in a jealous rage after discovering that she had blocked 2 British numbers years earlier. Publicly, Ashley continued to present a picture of happiness online, but she secretly documented her bruises on a private account. She confided in her sister, Haley, but threatened to cut ties if Haley told their mother, fearing her family would despise Jack. In late December 2021, Jack attempted to take his own life by overdosing on anxiety medication. Ashley called an ambulance and he was treated at the hospital. Following this incident, Ashley was designated as Jack's caregiver, tasked with safely administering his medication using a lockbox provided by a nurse. Haley accidentally revealed the situation to their mother, who pleaded with Ashley to return home. Ashley, however, insisted that Jack would improve. In early January 2022, another violent incident occurred. Jack smashed a beer glass over Ashley's head. Distraught, Ashley video-called Haley while Jack forced her to clean up the broken glass. In the background, Haley could see Jack pacing and shouting. Despite desperate pleas from her family to leave, Ashley stayed. On January 9th, Jack celebrated his 23rd birthday as though nothing had happened, surrounded by family and Ashley. Soon after, Jack's mother and stepfather organized a family trip to Rye, a quiet coastal town, hoping the change of scenery might ease tensions after Jack's incident. Photos from the trip painted a picture of harmony, offering a false sense of reassurance to Ashley's parents, who were unaware of the full extent of the abuse. Yet this fleeting peace did not last. By late January, Jack's temper flared again. During another argument, he physically assaulted Ashley, throwing a candle and a television remote at her while she was on a video call with Haley. Once again, Haley begged Ashley to come home. Initially, Ashley agreed but soon changed her mind, holding on to the belief that somewhere inside Jack's violent persona was the charming boy she had known for so many years. Ashley prayed that time, medication, or her love could heal Jack. Based on conversations with her mother, it seemed Jack had some awareness of the toxic cycle he had created. He would accuse Ashley of disloyalty, lash out at her, and later apologize profusely. Despite his guilt, it wasn't enough to prevent the devastating events that were about to unfold. On the morning of February 1, 2022, Jack became enraged again, accusing Ashley of sneaking off to meet others behind his back. He demanded access to her phone and social media accounts. Around 8 a.m., one of Jack's neighbors heard Ashley screaming through the shared wall. Moments later, Ashley appeared at her door barefoot, crying and with a cut on her hand. She explained that Jack had flown into a rage after finding a photo on her phone, assuming it was someone she knew. He had verbally abused her, smashed her phone and thrown their puppy Winston against the wall. Despite fearing for her safety, Ashley begged her neighbor not to call the police. The neighbor reluctantly agreed but urged Ashley to accompany her to a medical appointment to avoid returning to Jack's apartment. Ashley refused, so the neighbor decided to confront Jack directly. He apologized for his actions and appeared calm, convincing the neighbor to leave for her appointment. Around 9 a.m., another neighbor, Lucy, brought Jack a package that had been misdelivered. Jack barely opened the door, which Lucy found odd but dismissed as typical of his standoffish behavior. Meanwhile, Ashley called her family from Jack's phone. It was midnight in Vernon by this time. Ashley's mother had learned about Jack's abuse after Haley could no longer keep it a secret. Her family immediately booked her a return flight for February 3rd. Ashley told Jack she was leaving in 2 days, and he reluctantly agreed to take her for a COVID test and drive her to the airport. Ashley's mother warned her to go directly to the airport if Jack became violent again and warned Jack that she would involve the police if Ashley was hurt. While Ashley's family prepared for her return, Haley reached out to Jack's mother, but she was about to leave for a trip and unable to intervene. Before ending the call, Jack's mother expressed her fear that Jack might harm himself once Ashley left. Ashley's call with her family lasted about 3 hours. When it ended, it was 11 a.m. in Chelmsford and 3 a.m. in Vernon. Minutes later, Jack messaged his mother, confessing that he had attacked Ashley again, throwing her to the ground and potentially fracturing her arm. His mother did not respond. Between 11:22 a.m. and 12:38 p.m., Ashley sent several messages to her family and friends back in Vernon using Jack's phone. Unfortunately, due to the time difference, no one replied. She also messaged her church friends in Chelmsford, pleading for help and stating it was an emergency. Tragically, these messages did not send until hours later when it was too late. Sometime between 12:38 and 12:45 p.m., Jack committed a despicable act and harmed Ashley until she stopped breathing. He then retrieved a knife from the kitchen and used it multiple times until Ashley was non-responsive. After this horrific act, Jack carried on with his day as if nothing had happened. Jack continued playing video games, changing his profile picture to one of him and Ashley, captioned "Always Mine." He also recorded a video message addressed to Haley, in which he expressed love for Ashley and apologized, claiming he couldn't let her go and that his mind wasn't functioning properly. In the video, Ashley's lifeless body was visible beside him. Jack never sent the video but inflicted superficial wounds on his chest, likely to fabricate a self-defense narrative. Meanwhile, Ashley's family woke up in Vernon to find a series of desperate messages from her. Concerned, they contacted a friend of Ashley's in Chelmsford. He went to Jack's apartment and after receiving no response at the door, he called the police and left. It was around 4 p.m. At the same time, Ashley's best friend in Vernon noticed her social media account was active and messaged her in panic. However, it was Jack who responded, pretending to be Ashley. He claimed she no longer needed help as everything was fine. Jack ignored subsequent messages from Ashley's family and friends, who were growing increasingly frantic. Finally, Jack called his sister Nadia and confessed to his heinous act. At 4:13 p.m., the police entered Jack's apartment, responding to the earlier call from Ashley's friend. What they found inside was the horrific culmination of a tragic and heartbreaking case. Across the globe in Vernon, Ashley's family was frantically trying to contact her after reading her desperate messages for help and receiving no further response. Haley was convinced the worst had happened. In tears, she called her father and told him she was certain Jack had harmed Ashley. Kenneth contacted Canadian authorities, expressing grave concern for his daughter's safety in England. Shortly after, he received the devastating confirmation from British authorities: Ashley had passed away. Jack was arrested on the spot and confessed to the crime, claiming he had experienced a psychotic episode. He was sent to Chelmsford Prison while awaiting trial, scheduled for September 7, 2022 at the Chelmsford Crown Court. Toxicology reports showed that Jack had traces of substances in his system at the time of the crime. Psychiatric evaluations deemed him fit to stand trial. The evidence against Jack was overwhelming, including a video he recorded admitting to the crime. Jack pleaded guilty, and the judge informed him that there was only one possible sentence for his actions: life imprisonment. He was remanded in custody until his sentencing hearing set for October 10 to allow Ashley's family to attend virtually. However, her parents chose to travel to Essex to be present in person. Jack Sepple pleaded guilty to Ashley's murder. The court heard how his controlling and violent behavior escalated, leading to this senseless tragedy. He was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 23 years before being eligible for parole. Ashley's family and friends were left heartbroken, mourning the loss of a bright young woman with so much potential. Her adventurous spirit and kind heart were remembered by all who knew her. During the sentencing hearing, the prosecutor detailed Jack's criminal history, shocking Ashley's parents as they learned the truth about the man who had taken their daughter's life. Jack's history showed a pattern of troubling behavior from a young age. In 2014, at just 15, he faced legal issues after taking inappropriate photos of a girl he had met online and accessing her social media accounts without permission. This led to a restraining order, which he violated multiple times by continuing to contact her online. Later that year, Jack's behavior escalated when he physically assaulted his mother during an argument, resulting in property damage. He breached the restraining order again shortly after, sending another social media request to the victim. When the order expired in 2017, Jack contacted the girl within minutes, using coercive tactics similar to those he would later use with Ashley. In 2018, Jack's troubling behavior continued. He served time in a juvenile detention center after an incident involving self-harm and property damage. A restraining order was issued to protect his mother, but he violated it later that year by trespassing into an assisted living facility, resulting in a 21-day prison sentence. By 2020, Jack was accused of false imprisonment and coercive behavior after confining a woman in his home. Although charges were dropped due to the victim's absence at the trial, his pattern of problematic behavior remained clear. As his trial approached, it became evident that Jack had a history of controlling and abusive behavior in previous relationships, shocking Ashley's parents as they learned of his violent past. The court also reviewed a letter Jack had written to Ashley's family from prison, expressing remorse. In the letter addressed to Ashley's mother and Haley, Jack acknowledged that nothing he said or did could bring Ashley back or ease their pain. He claimed his mental health had deteriorated, leading to intrusive thoughts that affected his actions, though he admitted this was no excuse. Considering Jack's extensive history and his guilty plea, the judge sentenced him to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 23 years. Ashley's parents left the courtroom knowing justice had been served but carrying the weight of unimaginable loss. On October 12, Ashley's parents' stepmother, a close friend, and Julie Taylor, a campaigner against knife violence who had lost her teenage grandson Liam to a stabbing, held a vigil in Ashley's honor. The group walked from Brownings Avenue to the location where Ashley had spent her final days. They laid wreaths and placed roses on the doorstep. Ashley's mother spent a quiet moment reflecting at the site, mourning her daughter's loss. Neighbors, some of whom had attended Jack's sentencing, came out to support the family. Ashley's remains were repatriated to Canada with the help of hundreds of donations raised through a crowdfunding campaign organized by her family. Her funeral was held on February 23, 2022. The ceremony was live-streamed, allowing more people to participate. Funds remaining after covering funeral costs were donated to a scholarship foundation and a domestic violence support organization. During the service, those who spoke remembered Ashley as a vibrant, adventurous soul with a deep love for nature and an infectious sense of humor. A year after the tragedy, Haley, Ashley's sister, shared in an interview that she believed Ashley sent them signs from above. The family noticed doors opening and closing on their own and lights flickering without explanation. After the trial, Ashley's father raised concerns about the lack of accessible information about Jack's past. Despite searching his name online before Ashley's trip, the family found nothing alarming. He questioned when the right to privacy should be revoked for someone with a repeated history of violence. In the UK, there is a disclosure scheme known as Clare's Law. This law allows individuals to request information about a person's criminal past and grants police the authority to disclose such information proactively. However, the process can be slow and disclosure is not guaranteed. Ashley's story is a stark reminder to stay aware of the red flags and to support those who may be in danger. Thank you for watching today's episode. Please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing to Chilling Fireside Stories to help me share more stories that matter. Until my next video, stay informed, stay safe, and look after your loved ones.